the cracking down on Khalistan and trade with India are linked. And I think it's trade with Canada and every other country is sort of linked to the same thing. Because if you have, transnational criminal organizations in your ports and running the logistics in your country, like the Khalistanis run fentanyl and the drugs through the trucking industry, this presents a real problem economically and trade-wise, because are you a trusted partner? Is Canada a weak link, right? Because if nefarious actors are involved in the logistics of trade, and we're seeing, what Ukraine and Israel are able to do with smuggling and drones, like this is a real national security threat. So if Canada wants to be a player on the world stage, we need to do something about Khalistan, because these lunatic Khalistanis are significantly harming Canada in the social fabric, but there's also an extreme economic cost to this, where one, it just off-puts a lot of Indians because they hear the kill Modi, kill India, balkanize India. That's not a great advertisement for, Canada-India trade. And also, like, if these people and their drug money and all that have a hand in the Canadian system, then it really is going to reduce our trust with countries that want to trade with us, because you don't want to do trade. You want to do trade with a Western nation like Canada, okay? It's a great place with great people and all that, but there's a reason why more people want to trade with Canada than they do with Pakistan, because you can't trust a Pakistani shipping company to be, in any way honest, or what links do they have, and that's the same thing we're running in here with Canada. So one Secretary of State of something, a new position, which isn't quite cabinet, he's a Khalistani, but there are no hardcore Khalistanis inside the ministers. There are no hardcore Khalistani ministers, which was the big problem with the Liberals under Trudeau, is some of the top ministers were hardcore Khalistanis, then you add in Jackmeet. So without they don't really have any control of any federal ministries right now. So yes, the influence has to go down. And I think it has gone down. I think you've seen the Khalistanis start to lash out a little bit at their loss of power. And I think they made some pretty bad political gambles in the last few years that have left them in a much worse situation than they were in when the whole Niger fiasco. Canadian politics for the last 10 years has been defined by externally, they would say maybe some chaos and some bad actors. Internally, a lot of buffoonery. Trudeau known for dancing around wearing blackface. So Canadians are generally pretty happy to have a prime minister who speaks in full sentences, can count to 10 without his fingers. This is major progress for Canada. On the G7 thing, it's pretty significant because the major sticking point that Canada and India had is the Khalistan movement and the support of, outright terrorism and balkanization in their country. What I saw today, coming to cover the G7 and covering the Khalistan protest, is one of their lines is literally balkanize India, or to separate it. Now, it's quite understandable how any country doesn't want to be balkanized, especially India, who, at the rebirth of India, we could say, and partition, millions died. It was truly terrible, real horrific violence. No one wants to separate India again, internally, Sikh, Hindu, Muslim. But there's a concerted push outside of India to undermine it, mostly funded by Pakistan. But all the groups that want to destroy India, usually the same ones that want to destroy Israel and destroy America, undermine the concept of a nation state. So you have communists get in there, you'll get Jamaat-e-Islami, the Muslim Brotherhood, Khalistan, CCP, all the bad actors. So Canada's kind of become a hub of all these bad actors because of our highly permissive, what people would call woke or social justice. That was really defining the Trudeau era. So by inviting Modi into Canada, this is a pretty hard shift from Mark Carney to sort of distance the Liberal brand from these sort of permissive of terrorists, separatists, and all that type of nonsense, and a shift back into sort of, maybe hopefully pre-Trudeau Canada. But there's still a long way to go.